new book coming out chronicling the history of the chip designing juggernaut Nvidia and the company's culture, overseen, of course, by co-founder and CEO Jensen Huang. Joining us now, the author of that book, Tae Kim. He's senior technology writer at Barron's. And, you know, obviously everyone now is obsessed with Nvidia, Tae. But you started looking into this and started working on the book just before the sort of most recent explosion in the shares and in interest. So talk to us about how that sort of came about.
Well, I just got lucky. I got a cold email in my inbox of May of last year as an editor from Norton, and he said, "Oh, I know Matt Ball, he was the author of ours, and he recommended you to write the book." And the first thought I had was, there has to be a book on Nvidia. I went to Amazon, looked it up, and there was none. I was stunned. Like every other big tech company has 4 or 5 books, and for some reason, no one has written a book on Nvidia. And even at that time, it was still the biggest chip company in the world. It had some success. And then, boom, a few weeks later, they had one analyst called the biggest upside quarter he's ever seen in history. And then we've had these 5 or 6 quarters where they're growing triple digits at a revenue number that has been unprecedented in the history of the computing industry. So it's been quite a ride. I've been lucky to talk to all the early senior management, employees, competitors, and everyone is thrilled to tell this story because it's one of the best stories in American business history. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
And Tae, let me ask you, because you look at NVIDIA and the success they had, and Jensen he's got a lot of really smart engineers, got a lot of money, but there's a lot of tech companies who have a lot of smart engineers and a lot of money. What do you think explains NVIDIA's great success? I mean, as you say, you know, one of the great stories, right, in American entrepreneurial history. What is it? Is it Jensen? Is it his leadership? Is it the culture?
It's all of the above. Yeah. You just nailed it. We have this extraordinary outcome where NVIDIA is literally the best performing stock in US history with any company with 20-year returns. If you put in $10,000 at its IPO in 1999, it will be worth $40 million today. So what explains that? And you nailed the key hallmarks of it. And it's the culture that Jensen was able to create. It's the work ethic. I had this story in the early 90s where this one employee, she worked after midnight and said, oh gosh, and she slept for 3-4 hours and then woke up at 4 a.m. and she was thinking, oh, I want to go back to bed, but no, I have to go kill Intel because Jensen just gave an inspirational rally cry that we must kill Intel because they're out to get us. And this is when Intel was trying to snuff them out. The second component is the talent thing that you said. Jensen is obsessed with finding the best talent. He will interview someone, ask them, who are the best people you work for? And people will just tell him. He will pocket that memory, and 2 years later, go after that person and recruit. And he's relentless. He recruits the best people, and they usually say no the first time, but eventually he gets them. And he's also great at retaining people. NVIDIA, if you look at their annual filing, their turnover is only 3%.
Which is remarkable, Tae, because given the jump in that stock, there's a lot of people in NVIDIA who've made a lot of money. I mean, you would think there'd be some significant folks who are like, you know, I can spend the rest of my life spending at this point.
They retain a certain type of people. I'll call them mini Jensens, who love, I mean, Jensen is wealthy beyond his wildest dreams, right? But he still works every day of the week, crazy hours. He's working Sunday evening with his Highland Park Scotch, drinking, reading hundreds of emails. These are people that, you know, wealth is great, but they're driven by a passion to work, and it gives them satisfaction. Like, he loves working. He says working is relaxing. When he goes to a movie, he doesn't remember the movie because he's thinking about work the whole time. So all these people, all the senior management team, a lot of them have been there for 25 years. These are people that are driven by the mission, they're driven by the passion, especially now. In early days, it was mainly video game PC chips. Now it's the AI stuff they're doing is changing the world in every single sector. I mean, one real big sector that Jensen is most excited about is the potential for AI and digital biology. So this is stuff that could possibly cure cancer. This is stuff that really changes the world. So that's how you retain people, if you have a mission and passion to do that.
Tae, I do want to ask you, I mean, it's not as though the road has been easy, right? There have been obstacles. The latest obstacle could be China, right? And the company has sort of negotiated and offered lower advanced chips in China to try to avoid some of the regulations. But the latest reports that they could be facing an antitrust investigation in China. Given what you know about the company, what you've learned, like how do they attack issues like that?
I think NVIDIA will just have to listen to what the US government tells them to do. I mean, the US government has put in restrictions on their most advanced GPUs, so their revenue has already gone down. Most analysts are kind of zero-outing the China revenue.
Business.
Yeah, because their best, fastest chips, they can't sell in China anymore.
Right.
So I think part of this is just China thinking of this as theater to kind of strike back at the US, but China wants NVIDIA's chips. They want NVIDIA's most advanced chips. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do? Their chips are already banned. The high revenue stuff, the best stuff is already banned and restricted for export is the technical term.
Right.
So I wouldn't work, I mean, it's already happened.
Okay, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Interesting stuff. And we'll look forward to checking out the full book.
It's out right now.
It's out. People can check it out. People can get it. Thank you, Tae.